I know this wasn't planned. This wasn't a planned video. I wasn't necessarily planning on going live today. About an hour ago, I used some, hold on, I'm not advertising for them, they didn't give me anything. I used some Swarm Commander, and I sprayed the top hole of my swarm trap. Now, I put this thing up about a week ago. I sprayed the top hole of my swarm trap, and within like, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes, there was a couple of bees that were kind of flying around, checking it out. But when I put this thing up about a week ago, they did the same thing. Segue forward ahead a week, and I did that. And what we have now is they are actively looking to move into the hive. And they've been at this for about an hour and a half. There wasn't really all that many when I first started, but as you can tell, it's getting noisier. There's a lot more activity, and there is a swarm around here somewhere. They're coming somewhere from the south, so they're coming from out there in the woods somewhere. I haven't been able to find their hive, but at this point, there's no reason to bother if they're going to move in here. Now, the good thing about this is this trap will be a good place to go next year if we catch a, from what I understand. This trap will be a good place to go next year. I actually started doing this because I was watching the homesteading thing with Doug and Stacy back when I used to watch them, and they have Dr. Leo Saraskin on, and Dr. Leo is a Russian entomologist, bee guy. I mean, he's very, very knowledgeable about bees. He gives free plans on how to make these traps. I used his free plans and some scrap lumber, a little bit of ingenuity, and we didn't have any real money back then when I did this, but this was a couple of years ago. The first year I made them, didn't get anything at all out of them. Get up a little bit closer. Hopefully these guys will be as gentle as all my other hives have been, all my other swarms. At this point, they're actively looking to move in. They're checking me out. There's a butt ton of them now. But yeah, they're moving in. I'm wearing light clothing. I don't have any protective equipment on. I don't ever recommend that. To be fair, I was an exterminator for many years, so I'm very, very well versed on how to kill these things. But when it comes to keeping them alive, well, now that's a whole different ball game. So all that scratching you hear are the chickens in the woods. Let them out, getting into the grass, and getting all the unwanted bugs. The swarm trap, keep that ladder there because it makes it a lot easier to get to. When it comes time to get it down, that's going to be the fun thing. I'll build a scaffolding on there, and because that trap there weighs about 30 pounds, and getting it down is could be a rather pain in the butt. Because this is very uneven ground. I'm kind of back in the middle of the woods, as you can probably tell. I mean, I have some clearings here, but for the most part, we're back in the woods. I've never actively seen a swarm move into a hive, so I mean, I may have watched a video or two, but is it really the same as when you're doing it live? Right there, it's right there happening. I'm trying to keep the camera still, but I don't have this on a tripod, and my arms get tired. I'm old. Can you guys hear that buzzing? Anybody hear the buzzing? Hi, Cindy. Yeah, that's going to be, Cindy says that's going to be some great honey supply. Absolutely. You don't get much more local than your backyard. So, that stupid rooster. Can you hear them? Are you guys able to hear those? You can't really see the activity from there, but trust me when I say there is a lot of bees here. I can almost guess the queen is not here yet, so the reason why I started filming when I did, this just started a little bit ago. Ultimately, the whole front of this trap should, in theory, be covered by bees because, you know, that's what they'll do when they swarm. And they'll just kind of slowly move in a bit at a time. These ones that are going in there are the scouts, and they're kind of checking things out. Now, what I went and did was I bought frames. Now I made frames, but I also this year around I just didn't have time. So I bought frames from horizontalhive.com, which is Dr. Saraskin's website, and I bought 14 frames and then 14 sheets of wax. It's pure beeswax from Europe, and they seems to work because these girls are really happy. I don't know how long I'm going to do this for, at least until my arms get too tired to hold up anymore. I'll rotate them back and forth as much as possible. And every now and then I'll get up closer so we can get a closer view of what's going on. I don't want to irritate them. And then, of course, when the queen comes up, I'll tend to probably um, give them their space, let them do their thing. But look at them, they're all going towards that bottom entrance. Dude, you're too noisy. I'll tell you, drumstick. That little sucker's been getting aggressive. He's about ready to get turned into a football. A big feathered football if he decides he wants to mess around and find out, because I'm not going to play that game. Hey, Sarah Durkee, how are you? Look, our honeybees. So I set this trap up last week, and I rebaited it about an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours by this point, who knows? I don't even know what time it is. But, oh my gosh, dude, shut up. Anyway, I rebaited it about 2 hours ago. A couple of bees started coming around, and then poof. You can kind of see them flying. Get up there, get another view. I'll stay until either A, I get stung, or B, I get tired. Look at all of them go in there. Can you hear it? If I have my tripod, I could just put the darn thing on a tripod and lift it up, but no, herb guy. I wasn't thinking of that. This was kind of an impromptu thing. So you guys remember when I caught the swarm last year? That very first hive. That first hive split on me, and I was going to do a video on it because I was so excited that it split on me. And I tried to catch it, and it got away. I was like, oh man. So my original queen, she flew off with part of her hive. It wasn't, okay, so look, an hour ago, I wasn't planning on going live. I was going to go do some shopping, and I had some other stuff to do, video stuff that I have to take care of. But how often is it that I get to see a live swarm move into a swarm move into a trap? I don't ever really get to see that. So I decided, hey, let's do a live. What's the worst that'll happen? Nobody will watch it. So, oh yeah, they're definitely moving in. So this makes me want to go and bait my other trap. I have another trap over at my father-in-law's place. And if this hive is active today, I kind of don't want to do this live. I mean, I might only do this for like a half an hour. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it gets to a point where it starts covering the face of the trap, then I'll keep it live so we can really, really watch it and check it out as it goes, piece by piece. But if they're just going to move in like this a little bit at a time, I'm probably not going to keep it live because that would be like watching paint dry. So, but oh yeah, the activity around here is insane. There's a ton of bees. Started out as one or two, which means that the swarm is actively coming too. If you're seeing this many bees, that means the swarm is getting closer. And I don't know where they're swarming from. I went and kind of, at least as far as the property would let me, I went and looked to see if I could find the actual swarm, but I couldn't. So you can see them coming out. Look how many of them there are. So, sorry. Yay! Welcome new family members. maybe this one will stay alive. because we lost one last year. Soul! He's over there chewing up children's toys. Not a big fan of rodents. Soul isn't. Oh, I only have 2 people. I mean, like 2 of my favorite people. That means it's more private. We can just talk. Anybody else that comes along later, well, they can just get like a one side of a telephone conversation. It'll be YouTube tomorrow, right? Tomorrow at 7. We're doing mistletoe, remember? Tomorrow, Sunday night at 7 o'clock, we're doing mistletoe. We're going to be breaking down mistletoe. So don't forget. And then we'll decide what we're going to do for next week. Maybe I'll put up another poll or something. I don't know. A lot of cool stuff about mistletoe. They kind of seem to come in spurts. They have like 50 or 100 bees, and then they go away. They'll kind of cloud, but they don't all go in at the same time. I have a feeling they're marking their trail. Kind of what bees do. Looks like some of these girls already have pollen on them too. I'm gonna have to turn off my notifications. Sorry, guys. Yep. Looks like we caught us a swarm. Cool. Also, one of my followers sent us a book. So I think I'm going to do, and since it was only on Instagram, I think I'm only going to post it on Instagram. But she sent in a book from Southwestern Herbs, and I'm going to do an opening tonight probably, and then, I don't know, maybe I won't do it. Maybe I'll do it on Instagram for a while and then post it to the other ones. We're getting right in there. Oh, we're up to 3 people. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. Oh. They have a wild swarm that's pretending to want to move in. No, they're actually moving in. But it just started about an hour ago, so don't expect anything spectacular in this moment. But they are, when it started, there was only like 1 or 2 that were just kind of checking out the trap. And at this point, you know, I'm keeping an eye on the time. If by half an hour we don't see some dramatic improvement, what I'll probably just end up doing is I'll do a follow-up video tomorrow after they move in, or maybe a week from now after they've moved in. And there, so you want to wait about a week before you move them. So, and then a week from now we'll do another video on how that hive is doing. And since we're here, while you guys are, why don't you just leave a comment? Okay, so I had 2 hives. My first hive was named Atlantis, and it's still alive. My second hive was named Sumeria, and it did not survive the winter. A mouse got in and ate all their honey, so I gave the mouse to Soul, who ate the mouse. So at least somebody benefited from all that honey. But we need a name for this hive. Clearly it's a hive, it's a swarm, it's here. So this will be a new colony. The original colony is Atlantis. You know, and Atlantis is still alive and thriving. Sumeria, on the other hand, has fallen. So maybe Babylonia, I don't know. Throw some names out there. And we'll do a consensus. If we get enough people that'll actually vote and then leave a name, we'll name this swarm. I kind of like to keep it, you know, with an ancient culture. You know, I'm okay with not naming it. Well, maybe Greece, I don't know. But something creative, though. I mean, oh boy. the plans that I got for this trap were free, and it's really very simple to make. It just took some bare basics. The measurements he used, I'm assuming that what he did was he used metric measurements to begin with, which are a lot easier to use when you're kind of measuring those kinds of small measurements that he did. When I went through this, he was using those weird, 17 30 seconds, and really weird off the wall numbers. Um, and I think that if you probably converted it to metric, it would be a lot easier. But he scientifically designed these boxes. Now the horizontal hive is supposed to be a lot easier to use. I wouldn't know because my first one, Atlantis, has over 100 pounds of honey sitting in it, but I can't get to them right now because what they went and did to me is, even though I made those frames, they cross-framed me. And they built their hives across the frames, so that way if you go to try to pull up one, you'll rip it apart. And so in essence, I'm gonna have to tear the hive away from around the colony, and then take all the frames that are there, readjust everything, take the honey that I want, give them the honey that they need, and give them a whole new setup. But for right now, I'm just letting them enjoy it because they just split. So I mean, I know it's a pretty strong hive, but I'd rather not give them too much stress right now. Eventually, at some point, though, I need to get to that honey. 100 pounds of honey is a lot of stinking honey to just be sitting in a box that only the bees benefit from. So I know that sounds really selfish, huh? Jeez, Earth guy. Take those bees' hard work. I am going to take their hard work. They make a surplus. I give them a home that's safe from raccoons and other predators, and in return they give me some of that delicious honey. And propolis. They give me propolis, which is life-saving. Royal jelly, which I don't take. Managed to get some bee bread that's even better. Bee bread is fermented honey in the comb. I can hear them in there. Can you hear them in there? So I don't know how long it'll take them to move in. I have a carpenter bee that thinks it wants to move in, but at this point it's wildly outnumbered. Pompeii. Oh no, I don't know. Pompeii. Didn't work out so well for the Pompeians. Just saying. I'm just teasing. Pompeii's an ancient culture. It's a good vote. See, we have one for Pompeii. If nobody else votes, it's going to be Pompeii. What do you think of that? Touche. Sarah says neither did Atlantis come out to a good end. It did not. So they're taking their sweet old time on moving in. I'm not sure exactly where the main swarm is. Typically speaking, you have anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds of bees. It's kind of hard to imagine, but imagine a ball of bees about the size of a football, and that's what the actual swarm will be. And I went looking for them, but I mean, we only have so much property here we're allowed to look on, and anything after that would be considered trespassing. We've been expressly told that our neighbor's such a lovely fellow. Yep, they are moving in, but I don't think we're going to see anything spectacular. I don't know that they're going to beard the swarm trap or anything. It looks like they're just kind of going in bits and pieces. But I do know that by this time tomorrow, when I come out here, there'll be an active swarm in that hive with a queen and workers and everything, drones. And you will be seeing some cool stuff. I'll probably film taking this thing out of the box, taking this swarm out of the box, and putting it in the other swarm box. Kind of cool. So if I had a cameraman, we could just jump in the truck right now and pop on over, and we could do the recording and talking and blah blah blah. And then when we get there, you can still do the talking and film that and get up there and bait the trap and you can do it all on camera. I don't have a camera person. yet. I'm working on it. I do have a couple candidates for podcast co-hosts, though. So those should be fun and lively. I had to kind of put the podcast. I have other things going on, so I had to kind of put the podcast on hold. But it's still in the works. See, Sarah's like the most loyal. She's watching the whole time. Everybody else is just floating in and out. We only have about 10 more minutes, and I'll probably call it a day. I still have a lot of stuff to do. I still gotta go shopping. I gotta do a lot more research. Not research, but I gotta get all my stuff for Mistletoe set up, get the PowerPoint presentation done, blah, blah, blah. If I can get it all done tonight, I can post it tonight for patrons, for you guys on Patreon. You guys can get it tonight, and then everybody else has to wait till tomorrow. I was gonna send us the small short video on our little group, Sarah, because we've got a group. It keeps me sane, I think. One of these days, though, I just need to take some time off. Otherwise, I just get overwhelmed. Like, I have a bunch of stuff that people sent me that I was going to be doing videos on, but I've been unable to do the videos because all this other stuff that's come up has been rather overwhelming. So trying to get all that taken care of while simultaneously keeping up with as much of the videos as I can. I went and posted New Hampshire, my top 3 herbs from each state, and remembered that I didn't post Nevada. Somebody reminded me, you didn't do Nevada. Where's Nevada? No, not avoiding. I have other things. I have other things that are going on that have to be done. So, and then once those are done, my life will certainly calm down a lot. In theory, depending. It's the goal, anyway. Well, this was rather anticlimactic, and for that I apologize. I will have to point out in the title that this is a very slow process. And probably going to be a good thing that I'm going to stop it. I'll probably stop it at 25 minutes because it's unlikely that the main lion body of the swarm is going to arrive. Then what they're doing is they're all going in. They're going in piecemeal, and new ones are coming. You know, and when the queen does show up, it'll be interesting. But I don't have time to wait. I have other things I have to do. So we'll come back afterwards. We'll come back afterwards after I get back from shopping. Maybe it'll look a lot different. We'll see. But yeah, so far we'll get one more close up, and then I think I'll wrap it up. Apologize if there was any expectations that were not met. That was certainly not my goal, guys. I do not do clickbait. About ready to see a whole bunch of them come popping out of there. Oh, goodness. All right, wish me luck. Let's see what happens.